unless people are willing to do the hard work of presenting the history and holding people accountable for the past, we will be condemned, as it's been said, to repeat it first in tragedy and then in farce.
Here's something I wrestle with, and a lot of journalists wrestle with it, that I'd like for you to address. We sometimes bend ourselves into euphemistic pretzels in order not to call a spade or a lie or a lie. For example, when Rick Santorum's opponents took his words out of context to make him say something he clearly had not intended to say.
On the economy, Rick Santorum says,
I don't care what the unemployment rate's going to be.
I didn't hear any prestige journalists speak up and say, you know, that's a lie.
No, what you heard instead was, isn't that something? What a deft maneuver. What a great political thing that they have done. How shrewd it was to change the focus. How merciless toward their opponents this move has been. There is admiration for playing the game brilliantly. No one is appalled. No one is shocked anymore. No one is able to say, wait a minute, that's not true. That's inappropriate. That's wrong. Because if a reporter does do that, they are completely playing into the hands of the candidate, as we saw over and over.
You once proposed that political ads be accompanied by a disclaimer, and it was this disclaimer, quote, the scary music, Photoshop pictures, and misleading sound bites in this ad are tricks intended to manipulate you in ways of which you are not consciously aware. Voting for this candidate is unlikely to improve how awful things are. When I read that, I thought, fat chance.
Yeah, fat chance, but at least we're talking about it. At least front and center is the notion that these ads are so powerful because they are mini movies. They are dazzling dramas. They are full of conflict and story. We love paying attention to that stuff. We are suckered into them.
Do you think these ads make us stupid?
We start stupid. The brain is wired to be entertained. We don't pay attention to the words. We pay attention to the pictures and the drama and the story. If it's pretty, if it's exciting, if it's violent, if it's fast, that's where we are. So the fact that these mini dramas are being used to get us to vote for one person or another is just like what we all learned propaganda was used for and thought we learned our lessons from in World War II. They are propaganda, and propaganda is irresistible. If it were resistible, people wouldn't do it.
It's why people smoke. It's why they go to war often.
Exactly, and that's why even in the case of cigarettes, there is now an effort to add pictures to the packs because those warnings don't quite do it. You got to see an image of what your lungs look like in order to make you not reach for it.
And it's why when you see a pharmaceutical company promoting a drug, the picture is lovely even though the words are horrifying.
Common side effects are dizziness, sleepiness, weight gain, and severe liver problems. Some fatal were reported.
Shortness of breath, swelling of your tongue or throat may occur and in rare cases may be fatal.
Imagine after seeing that saying to your doctor, you want to write me a script for that? I think it'll be good for me. And the reason is because what we're seeing is this lovely story. Somebody was sad and now they're happy.
Don't you think most people are now jaundiced about these ads? They know it's a con?
People say they know it's a con, just as they say that they are not being swayed by the ads for products that they see on television. If that were true, there would not be a multi-billion-dollar advertising industry. If that stuff didn't work, that would not be on the air. So no matter what we say, no matter how clever we are susceptible to it. 24, that TV series, is a favorite example of mine. When
it was a series about the CIA?
It was a rogue CIA agent
right.
Played by Kiefer Sutherland. And often the storyline would turn on his using torture because some terrible thing was about to happen. And even though it was against the rules, he knew that that was something you had to do. You had to overrule the handbook at moments like this, and then he would get the information from the suspect. The problem is that torture doesn't work. Not only is it illegal and immoral, it doesn't produce the kind of information we want. But the cadets at West Point who were watching 24 decided involuntarily, well, that's how it works. So that even though their textbooks, even though their teachers in class were telling them torture's wrong and it doesn't work, even though that was happening, they were absorbing the lesson of this melodrama on television. And it was so scary to the military brass that the dean of West Point had to go to Hollywood and plead with the shows not to do it, to tell them, you have a power. You have a power that is beyond what you understand, and with that power comes responsibility. So please understand, you can work black magic on our troops. Don't do that.
You wrote a fascinating piece a number of years ago in a book called What Orwell Didn't Know, a collection of essays by people like yourself. And if I remember correctly, you predicted in there that the internet opened new possibilities for democracy by creating new networks of information gathering and information sharing. Do you still think that?
I do. The problem is that the internet is, at best, the Wild West, in which that kind of information competes with other stuff in this great bazaar. I mean, at this booth over here, you get some important investigative journalism. At that booth over there, you get Charlie Bit My Finger, or whatever the YouTube hit of the month happens to be. And they're all on equal footing, and it's up to the public, the herd in some cases, to make stuff popular or not.